So welcome to the Speaking Podcast. It's actually a special episode because it's number 60 and I've got a good friend with me. And before I introduce him, I'm going to just say that we've got two other podcasts, the Learn Polish podcast and the Meditation podcast, and they can all be found on roycollin.com. We're on YouTube at Speaking Podcast, so be sure to give us a thumbs up and a nice comment. And if you're on the podcast, subscribe. So welcome, Walid.
Thank you, Roy. It's really nice being here. I'm very excited, and here we go. Let's kick it off.
So we actually met in an A-Fest in Cancun, and I remember we actually did the HAKA on stage.
We did. That was a beautiful experience.
And like you were confident, like I remember at the time, like it didn't faze you, but I was terrified. I was actually ready to bail on that because, you know, for those don't it's a dance and we were in the audience of 400 people and just ripped off our tops, went up, 12 of us, 16 of us.
Yeah, it was excited. I think we got the crowd cheering for us. It was really, really a good time. And that was one of the pivotal points for my life as well, that A-Fest, because a lot of things came through it. You know, if you remember, the theme for that A-Fest was Live Your Quest. And I was at a turning point in my life back then when I didn't really know my quest and my soul's purpose and my true passion. Business was running and flourishing, but it was key to helping me find my quest. And find new and beautiful good friends.
Exactly. Now we met some amazing people. So what I normally do is I ask people to say, who's Walid? Rather than me having a script saying it, I prefer you to tell the audience.
Sounds good. Well, welcome. My name is WALID ABOULNAGA, and I'm currently in Indonesia, living in Bali. After 20 years in the Middle East and running multiple different businesses in the marketing field and the digital media space, I was in search of something grander, something where I can actually help make a difference. And at the end of the night, when I put my head on the pillow, I'm satisfied with myself. And like Roy said when we first met, it was interesting times. This was back in 2015. And it all happened from a breathwork experience. I was in search of meaning of life. I was in search of what was my true passion. Unlike musicians or my cousin who was a doctor and they loved what they do, I was really good at what I did, but I didn't really love it. I liked it. And that's what I was yearning for. You know, maybe as I was about to turn 40 back then and looking for the meaning of what's life all about. You know, is it a midlife crisis that I was going through, or what was it? But during that breathwork experience, I could not believe what happened to me. The insights, the downloads, the connection, it just all helped transcend my thought and expand my awareness, you know. It was beyond belief, and I was in sheer awe. I was in tears for, you know, half of the session, not because of any trauma or abuse or anything that happened in my past life, but because of the magnitude of the experience that I couldn't believe. Just prior to that, by a few months, I went to Peru and experimenting with plant medicine. I just couldn't fathom and believe that the breath could take you where other substances could take you. This is just pure breath. And through it, I got the vision of what I wanted to do. I set up a few years ago my transformational travel experience called Nafas Journeys. And nafas in Arabic means breath. It's derived from nafs, which is the spirit, yourself. And then I founded the Nafas Journey so I can share all these incredible experiences of not only breath work, but sound healing, energy work, meditation, yoga, and blend it with hiking and lots of adventures. And it's been a wonderful experience. And today I facilitate shamanic breathwork, the breathwork that I've found myself resonating most with. I've studied with some of the founders and masters of these incredible breathwork techniques. I wanted to understand the different modalities and the healing benefits of the breath work and how it can benefit people as it transcends your mind and allows you to tap into a higher state of consciousness. And today, this is what I do. I facilitate breath work and bring people to incredible experiences all across the world, not only to Bali, Costa Rica, Peru, Sri Lanka. And it's been wonderful, Roy. And through the breath, I've actually found myself, the breath leads you to so many different things, to calming yourself down, to putting you at ease, to allowing you to speak better. You know, I've learned so many things from the breath. And one thing I wanted to share, as I was having a talk with you earlier, was I've never taken courses in speaking. Maybe this was as I grew up playing lots of sports, I was confident all my life, but maybe I missed a few tips here and there. But I understood one key thing from the breath. The breath, your state affects your breath. So if you get an email or a phone call and it's bad news, for example, the first thing you do is you hold your breath. Or maybe you breathe a little bit faster and your heart beats. So your state controls your breath. But it's also a two-way street. Your breath controls your state. So just recently, last year, I was speaking in one of my corporate clients, and it was 450 people in a corporate event called the University Program. All the partners, senior executives were there, the GMs of different divisions. And I was supposed to speak about the breath and how to calm them down and allow them to focus. And I thought I would be a little bit nervous, but I was in total peace and calm with myself, getting on stage, breathing before, and then allowing them to breathe, to experience what the breath can do. You breathe, you focus, and one deep breath can put you in a meditative state, allowing you to immediately put yourself in a calm state and put you at ease. And I've realized that the breath can control your state, and even studying with Wim Hoff and going into the ice, which I facilitate now, if you go into the ice without breathing, you're going to get in there and freeze. But if you breathe and you put yourself in this wonderful state, you get into that ice, relaxed, comfortable. So today, that's here and a little bit brief of me and what I'm doing.
Oh, brilliant. I've actually done that. I think it was in Jamaica with the Wim Hof.
Yes,
and
together, yeah.
Like you're panicking, thinking, I'm getting into an ice bath. But once you're breathing, it's such a rush. And when you come out, the energy that you've got from doing it, it's amazing.
That's right. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, what an incredible man. I let stress get to me through my previous job. I had over 1,000 employees and running for the next project in the next country and expansion, growth. And then one day I had a wake-up call. That wake-up call was at the American hospital in Dubai, and the top neurosurgeon basically told me, we're going to open up your brain and freeze your nerve. I had something called trigeminal neuralgia. And when I heard that, brain, freeze, nerve, it just, what are you talking about? And of course, thanks to Google, when I did some research, it was the #1 disease people commit suicide from. So I knew then that I had to really change my life drastically. And I refused the surgery and I started studying stress management. I went into more breathwork, meditation, and the path led me to where I am today, to saying I will not allow the doctors to tell me and dictate what I need to do. We very seldomly give away our power to the pharmaceutical world, the medicine world, subscribing antibiotics and unnecessary pills. Sometimes they do, of course, give the right advice. In critical cases, you have to follow what they say. But in this case in particularly, I had to, for my sanity's sake, for my business sake, and my family's sake, find a solution to heal. And I went into doing a lot of healing, collective healing, where Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, where having my family pray for me, going on spiritual journeys, going on meditative journeys, really working on breathwork and meditation and healing. And the one key thing that helped me along my path was believing that I will be able to overcome this. And that's one of the, I think, blessings in disguise. It came to me for a reason, and I'm here today because of it. Sometimes you don't see the real reason why something happened to you until later on, and then you're thankful for it.
And it's actually interesting what you said about the pharmaceuticals and everything, because when I was, I don't know, maybe 22, 24, I had a trapped nerve, which is sciatica, and like you have a shooting pain down your leg, and it was really affecting me. So I got tablets from the doctor, and that was making me drowsy. I remember bouncing off the walls, and I was like, this isn't for me. So I tried a few different things. I tried acupuncture and everything, but I was still, in pain. They even, I went to a stage where I got an epidural. So, they're putting you to sleep, and then they're, moving you around. I mean, you're getting the injection when you're awake, and then they're putting you to sleep, and they're kind of manipulating your body. And I remember after that, I had pains down my other leg, and I was expecting that to work. So in the end, they're saying, oh, it's the disc is protruding on your nerve, and we have to cut the disc. And, I just believed in what they were telling me. So I went away, got it done, expecting to wake up and be, hey, back to normal. And I wasn't. And I was really disappointed. And in the end, it was a book that I got. It just, I don't know how it landed in my lap. It was Healing Back from Don Sarno. And it's a mind thing. And I was able to cure myself within 2 weeks. And I have passed that on to over 20 people. And they've all been healed. And like, we're being butchered by pharmaceuticals, we're being drugged, thinking, you know, that this is going to help us. And between the mind and the breath, we can actually cure ourselves of, I believe, the majority of them.
Absolutely. I mean, I've witnessed the powers of the breath myself. I mean, facilitating shamanic breathwork with many different techniques out there. The one that resonated the most with me is shamanic breathwork. And, you know, a lot of people have issues, and serious issues, whether it's trauma or pre-birth issues during birth, abuse in childhood, anything. And with the breath, we can heal, allow it to surface, allow these repressed and suppressed memories and emotions to come out to heal, for the light to come in. And the breath, I mean, we teach our children, you know, I facilitated the classes as young as 3 and 4 years old to breathe, you know, and that's what we should do, to teach them when they're young. So when we grow our age, we understand how important the breath is as we breathe in this prana, chi, we call it nefas, the sacred essence of life. When we breathe it in, we have to understand this is energy giving us life force and allowing us to put us in a beautiful state. You know, we're stressed too much, we're running too much, and unhealthy habits, foods, and the breath is just a beautiful, beautiful healing power. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to share it with more and more people, especially these days online. So there you go. I'm facilitating online as most of us are on lockdowns, very soon to open up. But it's been wonderful, even online. And you have to understand that we're all connected through this beautiful energetic web. This net that connects us. Yes, we're online, but we're connected, Roy, you and I right now. And with listeners that will be listening later on, they're going to understand and feel the vibrations of our sound, of our emotions, of what we're saying. This is energy being transmuted. So here we go, the new era.
Exactly. No, it's beautiful.
Exciting.
Like I've tried maybe 5 different types of breathwork. Each time I'm amazed at it. You know, it's just, you have to experience it. And like, I encourage the listeners to actually, you know, go onto your website, and it is just incredible. And what you see as well is you see people transforming, you know, if they had a trauma or just, you know, an epiphany like you did, you know, you're just a switch and you're a different person after. It's just, there's a change that can happen just in one session.
You know, when I tell people, when they say, what is shamanic breathwork and what's breathwork, those who don't know anything about it, and, you know, I explain what shamanism is. It's an ancient way of life. You know, for the shamans back thousands of years, they used it to connect with the creator, to connect with nature. And the shaman was the medicine man, the medicine woman, someone who connected with the spiritual world. And in times of drought and times of war or pandemics, they would go and connect with the spiritual person. They would get information and they would heal. They would transform. They would awaken. And that's exactly what this breath work is about. It's a powerful healing process. Allows you to transcend the mind and tap into a higher state of consciousness. And through it, you're able to heal, to connect with spirit guides, spirit animals, get insights, guidance, answers, and solutions. Everything that's already within, but we're unable to tap into that state. But with the deep and fast breathing, we push the ego aside long enough so we can go into this beautiful inner healer, the inner shaman within us all, and we heal. So there we go, the breath.
No, wonderful. And like, one of the things, there's a lot of people, they're interested in organizing events, and like, you know, I have seen some of your details on the events that you're doing and how you prepare them. You are really professional. I mean, I can see just even the documentation that you do. How do you actually prepare an event? Because there's people aspiring to create events, and others might actually want to join you when they see how you actually do it.
I give all the credit and all the thanks to my father. He was a professor in the university, a computer scientist, and he had these incredible organizational skills. And I think through the DNA and through his teachings, I've learned it all to be very immaculate in terms of what you send and how you send the follow-ups. And it's quite simple. Once you want to set something up, you have, first of all, to envision it in your mind. Meditate on it. What do you want? Foresee the outcome at the end. Actually feel it already happening and feeling the feeling of content and satisfaction you have once it's done. Once you have that, it's all in motion, energy in motion. Manifest it, clearly set it. have a plan, set it out, and go according to the plan and go. So events that we set, whether it's an online event or an event where we have one of our soul ventures, we call the soul venture, which is an adventure for the soul, bridging adventure and spirituality. We set the date, we set the location, and we work on planning. I've been to many festivals and many events, and what I wanted to do is I want to give value. I want to give an incredible, unforgettable experience. We plan accordingly with the right people and the right product, and we just believe and let it all happen. You know, what we do is, it's not only about sending an email, this is the event, it's sending a beautiful email, making a nice video, having a beautiful, beautiful summarized bullet points. I like things in summary, so I like things visual. So I send a lot of photos, I like a lot of invitations with flyers, beautiful images. That's the way I would like to see things. So what I do is what I like, and that's what I provide other people. A very nice, beautiful image, a very detailed summary, and connect with us. We set the image, we set the event, the date, the details, we follow up. And that's pretty much what a lot of people do. But you can sense it when you go and everything runs smoothly, or it's a little bit difficult either finding the information or reconnecting. So I hope we're doing a great job. We're always working on improving, and you know, we're a small team, so slowly but surely. Thank you for your kind words. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. No, like, I mean, I've seen different things and I was really impressed. I mean, you go into such beautiful detail. The pictures, as you mentioned, you don't just have pictures, you have professional, really
Thank you.
fantastic pictures. Yeah. It's,
We've been blessed. We have a wonderful brother here, and he's with me on all the journeys. And he's not a cameraman or a video man. He's a storyteller. And because of the story, you can capture that moment. And it's so beautiful when you get to share a moment, whether it's video or photo. People can feel the feeling and really, you know, relive it. And I watch these mini summaries we have of every single journey that we do, and I'm just reliving it again. And every now and then I send it as reminders to our tribe, and they just love it. And it's really, truly beautiful. And you know how you go to different events, one photo could mean the whole world.
exactly, exactly. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So with the different things that you do, I know you do rafting and everything, but you also do the ayahuasca. That's something I haven't done, but I know a lot of people that have. You might explain that to me, because some people have never heard of it. So you might give us a bit of insight.
You know, one of the reasons I'm doing what I do is because of breath work. When I experienced my first ceremony with plant medicine, I could not believe that the breath could take you to where the plant medicine can take you, to this incredible space where you transcend space, time, and reality. It's phenomenal. And that's the reason I studied the breath. That's the reason I wanted to share the breath. And that's the essence of Nafas journeys, the journey of the breath. Now, what we do once a year, we take people to a trip to Peru, to the Sacred Valley. We have incredible shamans that we know, and we share this medicine, not only of ayahuasca and San Pedro and different plants that are available, but it's also about being immersed in this energetic field around powerful mountains, doing hiking, doing beautiful offerings with the locals. It's not about the medicine, it's much more than that. The medicine is just one part of it. But when people do come and do experiences, they have to be ready. They have to be in that beautiful state, and they have to be clear with their intentions, and they have to properly prepare before going on the journey. I am no shaman. I don't consider myself. We're all shamans, yes, but when we come to this medicine, there are certain people, and like a lot of people, when they start reading about it, they have to trust who they're going with, and where is this coming from? Like Graham Hancock mentioned, everything when you come to do ceremonies, breath, plant medicines, or psychedelics or anything, it's set and setting. Make sure of who you're with, where you're doing it, and set a clear intention. There's a lot to read about, and if anybody wants to connect with me on another level, you know, once a year we go to Peru. I actually should have been in Peru right now as we speak, but it got postponed to later on in the year. We do it once a year only because I'm more interested in taking people to Bali, to Costa Rica, to introduce energy work, you know, sound healing and the breath with all these beautiful adventures we have with hiking and beautiful things. But I also want to share the magic and the wonders of plant medicine too. So one day, Roy, you can come join and we'll be together in Peru.
Yeah. It's actually been on my bucket list going to Peru, so I'm sure we make that happen. So
Beautiful.
what's your future building the business, and where are you going forward?
I've had a lot of friends contact me and saying, how is this retreat business? How is these transformational journeys that you offer? I did work with children at schools, very little. I did work with corporates here and there, and a lot of retreats and a lot of facilitation of breathwork private and joining and co-creating magic with a lot of beautiful other light workers. And somebody was saying, well, with this incident and the whole world going through a craze of fear, maybe this is one of the hardest industry being hit. I'm manifesting that, no, this is something that a lot of people want. And I'm seeing it, everyone who's contacted me saying the first place I want to go to when this madness stops and the airport's open is to come to Bali. So I foresee that we will have a positive, beautiful future, not only for my industry, but for many others. Yes, some will be hit harder than others, and some will have to shut down. We are not essential, but it is important for people to understand that health is important, and people are realizing this now more than ever. Your immunity, your health, your state of mind, all this is more important than a lot of other things. And I believe that we have, over the last 2 months, been focusing a lot of online work. And just recently, with hundreds of people experiencing the breath with us online from over 25 different countries in the world, I'm just grateful that it is as effective, maybe not as exactly effective, but it is as effective from all the testimonials, from all the feedback that I'm receiving. So we're shifting things around here and then, but our business still relies on taking our tribe to magical places, exotic locations where they can experience the wonders of Pachamama, Mother Nature, all this green that we have, all these mountains. So we're going to be doing a lot of wonderful work. I'm very positive, and I can sense everything already is easing, and we're going to have life back on the island of Bali very soon.
No, I can see there's a shift, and I think as well, because of what has happened, people will appreciate it so much more. They know
Absolutely.
the opposite. So now when they're doing an experience, they will really embrace it, and they'll be fully present, and they'll say, because sometimes people, when they're working, they're on a trip and they're thinking about work, or, when they're at home, they're not playing with their kids, they're thinking, and when they're in work, they're thinking of their kids. Whereas I think now people will actually learn to be present, and that can actually make, their life a lot more positive.
For sure. And lately, when I was invited to speak in front of several corporate clients, and when we were talking, I was asking them, when they call me, what is your main objective? What is the goal for me coming? And then the reason is, a lot of these companies are having their senior people, or just their employees, stressed out to the max. And employees and workforce members as young as 30 and 40 years old are having heart attacks, are dropping. They have a few partners pass away in the past few years, several others having heart attacks in the airport where they had to emergency evacuate them. So they're saying, we need you to give them a burst of life, a burst of energy, and reintroduce the breath. And I was saying, well, maybe you should also give them a break. There's different things in life, but yes, energize. The stress that you have during the work, it's brought back into your homes, into your family. You have to work on a way to calm yourself down before you go back home. The stress of an email, of a deadline, of targets, it's a way where it can be worked. It doesn't have to affect you, because once stress tackles and enters the body, it can result in many, many different diseases, dis-ease. And once we understand that we can control our mind, our breath, we won't allow this stress to enter. So.
And I think that when you're in a meditative state, I went from both extremes. I remember working from 8 in the morning till 12 at night for a company, and you don't really get time. So yeah, you can make good money, but at the end of the day, and now, I just kind of do stuff at my own pace, and I'm way more productive. And yeah, when I'm doing something, I'm present. I'm not kind of hopping around in my head. I can really get present. And I think that's due to kind of doing breathwork and meditation. It makes a huge difference in how productive, because people think I must work 80 hours. They listen to some of the gurus that think work. And it's like, do you want to live like them, or do you want to have a life where you're actually, enjoying your wife, your children, and the things that you're actually doing?
Well, a lot of people are starting to work from home more and more, and many companies are starting to shut down their huge offices or take smaller spaces. So we're going to realize that you're going to be more effective. That's the way we should have been. But I think this massive change that has hit us all might be a positive outcome at the end.
No, I believe that there's a few things that are positive from it, and I think that that is one from the people who won't be actually, doing that. So it's been wonderful. Walid, how can people get in contact with you?
They can join our Instagram page, it's Nefas Journeys. A lot of our updates are on there. They can go to our website. It's www.nefas.life, Nafas.life. We have our information there, a lot of our journeys, our dates. So come join us in Bali or anywhere else in the world, or start with a breath work with me or with anyone else. It's very important to try. If you have not tried it yet, you will be blown away for sure.
Yeah, and I concur. It is 100. Yeah, it's 100%. You have to try it. You definitely have to try it. You can't knock it until you try it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roy. It's been wonderful. Much love.
So I
Amazing.
hope you enjoyed the episode with Walid. Be sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up, and you can find our meditation podcast and also the Learn Polish podcast on roycollin.com. Until next week, take care.